How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, at Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it's Thursday here on the show. You know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. Well, last night was Dynamite, and they had a great show, and they got another big show coming up on Saturday night, Grand Slam Australia. We'll tell you all about the show last night, all of the scoops on, well, a lot of different things, including, yes, Brody King. We'll talk about that here today. But that's one of the big stories here today. In addition to that, we've got SmackDown coming up tomorrow night. We have a TNA show. There's a TV show tonight and a TNA No Surrender PLE, whatever you want to call it. That's coming up on Friday, February 13th. AAA on Fox. Lots of big stuff coming up this weekend. And, of course, we've got a lot of news, not the least of which is WrestleMania. WrestleMania tickets. I don't want to say they're not doing well because, you know, they've already sold 36,000 tickets for each night. But it is not doing as well as it did last year. I think it's patently obvious why, but we will discuss that here today. We've also got notes on a new faction in NXT, which now has a trademark. Sai Kamitani is injured, and hopefully we'll be back soon, but I do want to discuss that because hopefully they're not, well, you know how these injuries are. It's a finger injury, and sometimes those don't heal as quickly as people like to think. Let's talk about Bad Bunny. We got New Japan Cup participants and plenty more. I'm flying solo today, brother. So let's do this together. If you want to text me, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo at Bryan Alvarez, X, and Blue Sky. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We got a big Elimination Chamber report here. And also Collision from Saturday, which actually was a pretty damn good show in its own right.
I was not told to watch Collision.
Vinny?
I forgot to text him Thursday night. I figured he'd be in bed. I said I'd do it tomorrow. And then Friday I bought a car. I was busy, and I've been forgot. John comes out, looks into the camera, and says, "There's a vibe in here tonight."
Sure is.
I'll say. Punk's eyes are bugging out of his head. Seth is still there screaming, "Die, die!" And Seth gets his way. Punk dies. John Cena wins. I thought the finish of this was incredible. Great stuff.
God, Travis Scott. Jesus God almighty. This was exactly like when Hogan used to come to the ring, Dennis Rodman trailing him, and Dennis Rodman was like on another planet. He had no idea where he was at, stumbling to the ring. He had basically have to drag him down there. This Travis Scott was on another planet, dude.
Well, the first time he was on the show was on that Raw show. He was smoking a blunt in the audience.
They go from the hug to a shot of Cena's angry heel face, and they cut right to Rock On. And then he kicks him right in the balls. And the crowd freaked out. The John Cena turned heel. Hulk Hogan, he was getting booed before he turned. It was a risk, but, you know, they were getting sick of the guy anyway. The problem with Steve Austin was he was the top babyface, and there was nobody to replace him when he turned. John Cena's been gone forever. He comes back. It's not like he was going to be the top babyface. They got 50 babyfaces. Cody's the biggest babyface they got. There's no risk whatsoever turning John Cena heel. He's 10 times more interesting now. The Cena and Cody feud is 1,000 times more interesting.
Travis hit Cody Rhodes in the face as hard as he could. I bet that sucked.
This was a big deal, and I didn't see it coming.
You guys need to listen to Observer Live on Friday.
No thanks.
Because some dude called in, all bombastic and outrageous.
Do y'all think that John Cena is going to be the one that turns heel and joins The Rock as his champion?
No chance. And I shot him down. I laughed at him.
Wow.
I said it's not going to happen. John Cena's here to sell tickets and merch as a babyface for his last year. He ain't turning heel.
They need to make shirts for John Cena that just say, "Can you see me now?"
Got to apologize to old Dwayne. I thought that guy was out of his mind. He got me. This is awesome. I cannot wait to see where they go here. Bringing the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Got a lot to get into here today. Of course, right when I'm about to get going, I just get like a bunch of tweets and everybody's asking questions. Hold on. All right. So, last night we had the Dynamite show. And overall, it was an excellent show. We'll review the whole thing afterwards. But today, the big topic of conversation is Brody King. And this all started last night when we were reviewing the show. And I thought overall Dynamite was a great show. My two criticisms were, it absolutely did not need a 17-minute overrun. And the Chris Statlander-Tekla match in the main event, I mean, there was no way it was going to follow everything else on this show. I think the main event probably should have been the Kyle Fletcher match, especially if you're going 17 minutes over. And there's no excuse like, well, Kyle was going to win and he's a heel. Tekla's also a heel. She won. I mean, it didn't need to go 17 minutes over. It was too long. That's number one. But the other thing was, the only thing that they did on the entire show for the Brody King MJF match was like a 30-second video package before the main event. And I was like, that's all. This is a world title match coming up at Grand Slam. And anyway, Dave said, well, you know why? And I said, well, is it the ice chance? And he said yes, and he did say the WBD. Anyway, I don't know exactly what he said, but here's what's going on. WBD did put out a statement today, and they wanted to make it very clear that they did not do anything involving Brody King, whether or not he was on the show, etc. From WrestlingObserver.com, it says here that during Wednesday's Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer speculated the reason King wasn't live was fear of more anti-ice chants, saying this is, again, not a Tony call. This is from above. You know what it is. Nobody wants to get on Trump's bad side. If it wasn't for that, nobody would care. It's just a chant, but unfortunately, they've got a company they're trying to sell, this being WBD, get regulatory approval from a guy who's going to take that stuff personally. That's just how it is. WBD issued the following statement Thursday afternoon. Warner Brothers Discovery did not have any involvement in Brody King's upcoming AEW schedule. Any speculation to the contrary is categorically false. Brody is scheduled to appear during the next AEW event, which will air this Saturday on TNT and HBO Max. So, all I can tell you is that this is not from Brody King, but it is from somebody who was on the flight with Brody King. The reason Brody King was not on the show last night was because he was in the air. He was flying with a lot of the wrestlers to Australia, and that's why he wasn't on the show. So, I mean, I strongly suspect that WBD was not thrilled with the anti-ice chants on the show last week, but they are making it very clear that regardless of anything, they are not making any calls about who can and cannot be on television. So I think the big question that I still have, which started this whole thing, is, all right, fine, they're both on a flight to Australia. Why was the only thing on the show a 30-second video package? I mean, they had a great segment last week. I mean, they should have done a big time, hey, this is what happened. This is the history of Brody. This is the history of MJF. This is what happened. This was the destruction at the hands of Brody King yesterday. Do a pre-tape promo with both guys. You know, they had a quick promo with MJF on Collision, but, you know, half the people watch Collision that watch Dynamite. So I'm still disappointed they didn't do more with it, but the reason he was not physically on the show was because he was on the flight to Australia for the show coming up on Saturday night. The full card for the Collision show on Saturday, we have 6 matches scheduled for the show, and it is scheduled to go 2.5 hours. And the matches include MJF Brody King for the AEW title, Hangman Page versus Andrade in a world title eliminator match, Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe in a ladder match for the TNT title. Yes, that was my other critique of the show. Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir, hair versus hair tornado match. Jon Moxley versus Takeshita for the Continental title. And Babes of Wrath versus Megabad for the women's tag team titles. And yes, you know, there was a video, I guess, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And one of the clips from the shows where I was talking about how, you know, one of my issues with AEW is it's just the same people. Like, nobody's actually getting elevated. And people don't understand what the word elevated means. They go like, oh, well, you know, blah, blah. Elevated means where are you on the card? Not where are you for one show. Not where are you for one main event. Like, where are you on the show? And, you know, the Kenny Omegas and the Swerves and the Hangman, they're all up here. And then you've got the other people that are all in the middle. And then you've got the other people that are down at the bottom. And elevation doesn't mean, okay, you know, Brody King's going to get a title shot in Australia, which he's going to lose, and then he's going to be back doing tag team matches in the mid-card. He didn't get elevated, if that's what happens. And the issue I brought up was Kyle Fletcher. You know, Kyle Fletcher, I'm not saying that MJF should not be the champion. The MJF championship reign with everybody going after the title, I mean, if you look at and obviously there have been some changes because of the way that the Nielsen is figuring the ratings, but it's certainly not hurting. It's either helping or it's just like, you know, it's not making things worse. It may be helping a lot. It's hard to say because this happened at the same time that Nielsen started, you know, how they, Big Data Plus panel, you know, they tweaked that, and now all of these shows are doing better. But the point is this, you know, when they had Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe months and months ago, I said, you know what? Mark Briscoe needs to win this title, and Kyle needs to go into the main event picture. He needs to be one of the Hangmans, one of the Swerves, one of the Will Ospreys. That's what needs to happen. He needs to be moved up. Instead, he won that match, and then they build up to another Mark Briscoe match. I was like, oh my God, how many times are we going to do this match? And at that point, Mark Briscoe won, and then Kyle Fletcher really didn't do much for like a month. And in fact, you know, after they did that World's End show with the Screwdriver, I mean, they didn't even address that for 2 weeks afterwards. And, you know, I said, this guy should be moved up. I don't want to see another Kyle Fletcher-Mark Briscoe match because literally that's putting them exactly where they were last year. And sure enough, you know, they announced that Kyle Fletcher was going for the TNT title on last night's show. I had guys on Blue Sky, which to their credit apologized. They said, Brian, you're an idiot. I can't believe you don't see where this is going. You know, Kyle's going to lose. It's going to lead to the split, blah, blah, blah. Well, in fact, that's not what happened. Kyle won the TNT title back. He's back to being the TNT champion. He is facing Mark Briscoe on Saturday. And granted, it's a ladder match, but we're literally in the exact same place we were months ago with both of these guys. So I'm sure at some point Kyle Fletcher is going to be elevated, but it's not going to be imminently because he's going to remain the TNT champion. I don't think he's losing the title Saturday. Tony, I don't think has ever done 2 hot potato switches in the course of a week. So my guess is he's going to be here for a while. They're going to continue this thing with MJF and Swerve and Hangman and Andrade, who thankfully Andrade, that's a legitimate, this guy's moving up the card, and I think he should win Saturday, and I think he should go to headline the pay-per-view. But we can talk more about this after the break and a lot of other news. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sitting.
I got that one down.
Kick my
Sounds like
feet.
my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay.
What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How do you have that so quickly?
Ridiculously fast answer.
You've thought about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack.
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody.
Goody goody, she says. The news of you having a
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
that's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit.
Eminem?
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment. Granny reads rapper names. That's
I'm an M.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan Adams.
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny. All right. We'll get back to the great stuff about AW in a moment. We got to talk about WrestleMania. New report on Thursday has WWE looking for new strategies and ideas of how to sell more tickets for WrestleMania. WrestleVotes Radio, Fightful Select, said the company held a multi-department meeting Wednesday as sales for their biggest show of the year are in the 36,000 distributor range per night, which is roughly 10,000 tickets per night behind the pace they were at this time last year. Still 2 months to go. Last year's event ended up between 56 and 60,000 distributed per night. Outlet also noted that WWE plans to keep ticket prices as is for the time being. Why does everyone have to make something so difficult? You know what would have been easier than a multi-department meeting? Just call me. I'd have helped. The tickets are too expensive. I mean, hello? So, here's the thing. if I may say so myself. Listen, there's a Raw coming up in Seattle, all right? About 2 weeks ago, I thought maybe I'll take my kids, looked at ticket prices, $200 a ticket. The absolute dirt worst, cheapest tickets were $200. So it was like, I ain't spending $600 to take 2 kids to Raw. It's absolutely not happening. There's no way, okay? So, about 3 days ago, to be fair, somebody there was like, quit lying about tickets! Ah! I was like, I'm not lying about tickets. I went up there and looked. Well, I went up again yesterday, and now you can get dirt worst seats for like $98, okay? But there's like, one section. The rest, you have to go, it's above 100 for everything else. So it ain't happening, okay? Now, do I believe that in the next month, these tickets are going to continue to drop in price? And by the week of the show, I can probably find tickets at an affordable rate, and maybe I will go to Raw? Yeah, I do expect that to happen. But here's the deal. Raw is in Seattle, and I live in Seattle. I can make a decision the day of the show, okay? This is WrestleMania, okay? It's in Las Vegas, Nevada. The vast majority of people that are going to head to WrestleMania are probably coming from elsewhere. They're coming from different states. They're coming from different countries. They're coming from all over the world, okay? So, right now, February 12th, we're like over 2.5 months away, about 2.5 months away. Right now, the flights are not that expensive, okay? You can get there fairly cheap, okay? Unfortunately, the hotels at this point are, I think the average was like $270 per night for a hotel. And, most of the places on the Strip, you're looking at like $400 or $500 a night, okay? You got to get at least 2 nights, probably 3, okay? So then on top of that, well, you've got to get tickets to the events, okay? WrestleMania tickets right now are frickin' sky high. I looked at those tickets. I'm going to Vegas for WrestleMania weekend. At this point, I'm not going to WrestleMania because I'm not spending like some ridiculous amount of money. I think right now I could get 2 nights, both nights of WrestleMania, for about $700. But you're like at the very, very, very top, maybe an obstructed seat for all I know. I ain't paying $700. I think it's $700 a night, actually. I'd have to look. But no, I'm not spending that kind of money to sit in the middle of nowhere and watch WrestleMania where I'm so high that even watching the screen's going to be like this big. That's not happening. To get a decent seat at WrestleMania, you're talking thousands of dollars. And like the ringside platinum seats, I had the price the other day. It was something like $56,000 or something like that. Something crazy. And like good seats, you're talking, you're still talking $20,000 for a seat. So no, I'm not going to WrestleMania right now. Now, here's the deal. Are WrestleMania ticket prices going to drop? Invariably, yes. The prices are going to go down as the show gets closer. But you know what? You know what happens as the show gets closer? Those tickets are going to start to drop. But guess what? Now you're going to be paying more for flights. You're going to be paying a lot more for flights. You're probably going to be paying more for your hotel. You're going to be paying more for everything. So this isn't like a Survivor Series or a Royal Rumble or a Backlash or whatever, where it's like, yeah, I got to get a ticket for one night. Maybe you could. This is a 2-night event. You have to pay double for everything. And the prices that they're charging right now, I mean, they got 36,000 people that did this. I mean, they should be doing cartwheels. But you ain't going to get 56,000 people paying these prices to go to WrestleMania for a weekend. So, we talked the other day, Dave on the show was talking about how they're concerned about these ticket prices. They're switching up the card for WrestleMania. And it's like, switching up what card? The reason people aren't buying tickets isn't because they don't like the card. There is no card. Whatever card that you've got for 2 nights of WrestleMania, the rest of us don't know what it is. That's not affecting our travel plans. What's affecting our travel plans is how expensive the thing is. So, apparently, according to this report, it's like, oh, we got to look at this, or what about this, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're looking at everything except the problem, which is it's too expensive. So, it's almost like a Vince McMahon thing back in the day. Vince would have some problem, and there was like an obvious solution. But instead, he would look at everything that wasn't the problem and make that the problem, and then try to solve that problem, which didn't solve the actual problem, which had a simple solution. The simple solution is it's too expensive. I sat with Sandman here on the chat last year at WrestleMania. He was generous enough to help me out with a ticket, and I asked him. I said, "How does this year compare to last year?" And he says everything is way more. Although last year WWE even had a VIP World package that cost $1,000. They don't do that anymore. I think that's part of the travel package deal. But 5-day passes are crazy. Individual day tickets are close to about the same as last year, depending on the day you choose. This is if you're going to go this is another thing. Like, you want to go to the WWE, whatever their convention thing is called. I mean, that's another. God only knows how much to go to that thing. And he says, WrestleCon is a better deal this year. $100 for a 4-day pass. $500 for a fast pass to get you in from the line for any of the talent. So it's like the other wrestling stuff in Vegas. I mean, hey, we got the stuff in Vegas at 4wonline.com/Vegas. Our stuff is less expensive than it was last year. WrestleCon, less expensive than it was last year. WWE, way more expensive. And then they're trying to figure out, why is nobody buying tickets? You don't need an all-department meeting to figure this out. And if you have an all-department meeting and everybody's coming up with these ideas, and the idea isn't lower prices now so people can make plans, I don't know what to tell you other than it's probably going to be disappointing. So it's like a race right now. How quickly can they lower prices where people will actually decide to go to WrestleMania? There's a lot of people who I think would love to go to WrestleMania this year, and they're not. And fact of the matter is, if they don't drop those prices sooner rather than later, it's going to be too late for people to do it in an affordable manner. If you want to charge a ton of money for a show that's going to seat 12,000 people, yeah, you can find 12,000 people who are going to pay a lot of money for one night at an event. You want 2 nights at an event, and you want to draw 60,000 both nights, and you want to jack up prices like crazy, it ain't going to happen. And it's not happening. It's not even a prediction. I'm just telling you. It ain't happening. So anyway, see what else we have here. Tickets are more expensive this year than last year, Sandman says. Hotel prices are way higher. I think I paid $200 or so a night for a hotel this year plus service fees. To get a decent amount out, I had to lower the amount of days I'll be there. Flying in Thursday, leaving Monday. Last year, flew in Wednesday, left Tuesday. Hotel, $1,200. If I did that this year, the hotel would have been about $1,600. So, all department meeting. What's the problem? I don't know. Other than the obvious. WWE's trademarking Birthright for the NXT faction. And, of course, at the New Japan show, David Finlay basically said goodbye. And I kind of was going both ways. I was leaning towards David Finlay ending up in AEW, but when they did the angle on Tuesday night's NXT, where Uriah Connors, who is the brother of David Finlay, they basically said, we just need, I think they said something like, we just need the last piece of the puzzle or whatever. And Connors said, I'll talk to my dad. I was like, well, I guess David Finlay is going to NXT to lead up this new faction, the Birthright. So that's what I expect to happen. I don't know if it'll happen, but I do expect that. Sai Kamatani is out of action. She suffered a finger injury while wrestling Starlight Kid February 7th. They are claiming she will not be stripped of the World of Stardom title because they only expect her to miss a month of matches. It is, however, a finger injury, and I don't like finger injuries because they do claim it was a minor injury. But the fact is, Bianca Belair injured her finger like at last year's WrestleMania, and she is still not back. And these finger injuries, not good. So hopefully this is minor and she'll be back sooner rather than later. But I wouldn't necessarily bank on that one. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
It's Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V, and we hope that you enjoy the show.
Should I do one more time? Huh? I played the entire song before realizing I had not hit record.
I figured as much.
So I had to start the entire show over again. Uh-oh. Is my internet down? My internet died.
Yeah.
All right. Stand by, everybody. Hi, everybody. We're back. And we're just gonna barrel on through, right, Vinny? What do we have on that Facebook thing? Now it says no audio. Jared, do we have audio?
I can hear you.
Honestly, what is going on?
Yeah, we just watched a movie
What
about
is
this.
up with my internet? Lost everybody again. Curry says no problems with the Big Vinny V show.
His words.
Not since the first one.
I was gonna say the very
There have
first
been
one was a
Many
disaster.
problems. Many
Yes.
problems.
We've had quite a few.
Yeah, and you know what I do? I just barrel on through.
Brian.
Barrel on through should be the name of this show. What the hell's going on this week? Like every single show, something goes terribly wrong. Today, I didn't have the music set to go at first. Then I got it set to go, but I forgot to hit record. Finally, I hit record and got the song going right. Golly. One disaster after another here. We're starting 15 minutes late. I still can't find the video, Jared. Is it up? Where is everything? Granny's joining us here today via phone. We cannot connect her audio or video. It's a blank screen. I don't know what's going on. What are we doing? Should we just quit today? I don't know what the problem is, Granny. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what's going on. We still have no video. I got a question. Where's the goddamn video at?
You gotta fire Jared.
All right, now it's up. Hello, everybody.
This is the one you told me to do last week, Undertaker plus Psycho Kid.
Okay.
Are you done laughing?
Yeah, we're done.
Yes, Granny, I apologize.
There'll be more.
Then Psycho Sid comes out with blonde curly hair. Hard to pull. Lasts a while before he gets out of it. I had to give that a 10.
A 10.
Oh, wow.
Undertaker won a match and a belt. That's a 10 on the Granny scale.
Victor is still at it more than ever this week, as far as the soaps go.
Hell of a report, Granny.
All right.
That was a 10 on the Granny soap opera report scale.
Okay, just a minute.
Jared, you're forgiven. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. All right, I went up to Ticketmaster during the break. So the other day, there was nothing below $700. Now you can get absolute dirt worst seats for $518. And I'm talking like, this one is level 347, which is like way out in the middle of nowhere, and you may even be slightly obstructed by the set, depending on how they do it. But yeah. So, right around, not even ringside, on the floor near ringside, $5,000 a ticket. That's for one ticket. Right off the floor, $3,400 a ticket. A little bit further up in the risers, or whatever you call them, $1,600. And even like that $518 ticket that I told you about, that same row, if you just get in a slightly better area, like straight across from the ring, $5,000. So my guess is that $518 ticket is slightly obstructed because everything else in that row, as soon as you get out of that particular area, it shoots up to 700, 600, 1,300, 5,000, and 1,500. At 5,000, maybe it's a suite that's $5,000. And even further back in the 400 section, tickets are $1,000. That's as far back as you can possibly go. $1,000, $1,200. So yeah, there you go. What could be the problem? All right.
Who cares? It's WrestleMania.
Was that me, Dom? Did you just put a drop in?
I did. I had that saved from a couple years ago. Yeah.
All right. I was like talking to myself. Almost lost my mind. Okay. A couple of other quick notes before we go to the Dynamite report. Wembley Stadium tickets are going on sale. There's another big show with tickets on sale. Wonder what those tickets will cost. March 16th is the pre-sale, and the general on sale will be March 20th at 10 a.m. So all in is August 30th. And, of course, the big question is Will Ospreay going to be back in time? And if so, is he going after the world title? Now, what's interesting is they obviously want to sell as many tickets as possible. And so with the pre-sale and the regular ticket sale going on, taking place in March, they probably are going to want to announce something big. But the problem is, historically, the person who challenges for the title at All In is the winner of the Owen. And I do not think that Will Ospreay can be back in time for the Owen. So my idea is that if you think that he can make it back by August 30th, and I don't even know if they can know by March. I mean, this is a big risk to do this. But if in March they think, you know what, this guy probably will be good to go by August 30th, essentially September. I mean, what I do is you just announce that, I don't know, how do you do this? I had an idea, but I was thinking instead of having Ospreay win the Owen, you would do a deal where the title would be up for grabs in the Owen. You would vacate it somehow, and then Ospreay wouldn't have to wrestle in the Owen. He wouldn't have to win it. He would just get a shot against the champion who won the Owen. So you could do that, but you can't really announce that the title will be vacated for the Owen Hart tournament. So I'm not sure exactly how to do this, but they got to announce something because, of course, that first year, $81,035 paid, which was a all-time record, beating even WrestleMania 3. All right, let's talk about this Dynamite show. Aside from my qualms at the beginning of the show, I thought this show was pretty much great. It had what I believe was the best AEW match of 2026 so far. It was a television match. It opened up with a Kenny Omega and Swerve face-to-face. And, they were buddies a little while ago, but this escalated very quickly. And they essentially agreed to do a match for free on television next Wednesday. Now, I guess it's, do they still do sweeps? Is that the reason this is happening? Anyway, there is a CapCon, maybe is what it is. There's some convention that years ago Kenny Omega agreed to do, and it happens to be the same week as the next pay-per-view. And unless he can find a way to get out of his contract for the final day, he won't be at the pay-per-view. So my guess is, and I don't know this for sure, Capcom, the Capcom Cup. It's a video game tournament. I remember Capcom from when I was a kid. I didn't know about the Capcom Cup. But anyway, my guess is he probably can't get out of his contract right now. And so they're doing this match next week. So I could be wrong. Maybe he'll manage to get out and they can do it again at the pay-per-view or do something else. But that match is going to be for free on television next week. And it should do a big number. Then we had Death Riders versus Takeshita, Mark Davis, and Josh Alexander. Thought this was an excellent television match. And it was built around, obviously, Takeshita and Jon Moxley because they're wrestling this coming weekend. And in the end, everyone ended up outside. Moxley got a hold of Josh Alexander, put him in the choke, and hit the Death Rider and pinned him. So Mark Davis escaped unscathed here. But that was the finish, and a very, very good match. Really, if you look at the Death Riders now, you know, people keep saying, like, Moxley is a babyface, the other Death Riders are heels. None of the Death Riders were heels in this particular match. The only Death Riders who are heels are Marina and Wheeler. They've, like, been split off. So, it's weird. I will say that. But I like the match. Then we had Ciampa and Kyle Fletcher, which was, as noted, the best AEW match, I thought, of all of 2026 thus far. It was absolutely incredible. It's very similar to that Kyle Fletcher speedball match where, I don't know, man. There was a point during the speedball match, and there was a point during this match where it's just like, okay, this is ridiculous now. Like, we moved into this being ridiculous. It was during the, like, they're kicking out of everything, man. They're kicking out of everything. And there's that part of my brain that just goes like, I can't even take this seriously. It's like ridiculous. But like the crowd is going absolutely, completely insane for this match. Standing ovation. They're chanting like crazy. So, hey, whatever. I mean, by the time it ended, I was like, I haven't seen a better match this year, so I can only complain so much. Ciampa lost the title. And 11, I guess it was what, 13 days? 13 days after he won it. Although technically less because he lost it on, or he won it on Collision. It was a Collision taping. So he had it a little over a week. But Kyle Fletcher won the title. Michinoku Driver and a Brainbuster got the pin. And he then did a promo, issued an open challenge to anybody for Australia. And yes, Mark Briscoe's music hit. God, I love the guy. But how many times do I got to see this match? They're doing a ladder match. Game 7, they're calling it, in Australia. And then that will allegedly be the end of this feud. We had Clark Connors and Daniel Garcia versus Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong. Like, I guess we're supposed to feel bad for the conglomeration in Orange Cassidy because Roderick Strong walked out on Orange during this match. Brother, I don't feel sorry for them one bit. Roderick Strong has not wanted to be with this group. He's told them repeatedly, I'm not part of the conglomeration. They ignore him. They keep calling him a conglomeration member. And finally, he's like, screw you, and he leaves. And like, we're supposed to be sad. I was like, good for you, Roddy, finally. But anyway, Orange is all by himself. And Garcia, this poor nerd, it's 2-on-1. He goes for the Dragon Tamer. Orange counters in a small package. He wins this match 1-on-2. And Moxley is furious at Daniel Garcia. And he's chewing him out. And then they did an angle where Tony's in the skybox doing a promo about the hair match. And Yuta comes out on the ramp and says, bring her out. And Marina drags Mina out onto the ramp, puts her in mother's milk. Yuta grabs one of her alleged pigtails, probably a hair extension, cuts it off. Fans are furious. It's got great heat. I thought it was an excellent angle. We had Dom and Andrade doing a promo, or Don and Andrade from last week. And then Hangman did a promo. This is all to set up the Hangman versus Andrade match coming up this weekend. Winner gets MJF at the pay-per-view. Honest to God, I think it should be Andrade. And then you do either Hangman and Swerve, or Hangman, Swerve, and Omega if he can be there, in a 3-way also at the pay-per-view. And the winner of that gets the next shot at MJF. I think that's the easiest way to handle this problem. Then we had the Young Bucks, the Rascals, and the Mystery Team. Who could the Mystery Team be The winner of this will be facing FTR for the titles of the pay-per-view. And I thought, you know what? Maybe it's Copeland and Cage coming back. They'll win this match, and we'll have that match for the tag titles coming up. Nope. The mystery team was Private Party, who were murdered in a tag title match 13 months ago and have not been seen since. And they had a party match. It was pretty outstanding. And the Young Bucks ended up hitting the TK driver, got the pin. And, you know, I love the Young Bucks and all, but it's FTR and the Young Bucks again for the tag team titles. It just feels like the company feels like it is heating up. It feels like a hotter company, but we're also seeing the same matches. Not all of the same matches, at least. Well, I mean, we'll find out. I mean, hopefully Andrade wins. Otherwise, we'll have Hangman and MJF again. So I would have had. Honestly, I probably would have done Copeland and Cage versus FTR, but it's not happening. And they did an angle afterwards to set up the match. And then the main event was Statlander and Tekla for the women's title. And we had interference in a strap match, which involved, for reasons unknown, distracting the referee, even though there are no DQs in a strap match. Statlander beat up both Sky Blue and Julia, but then turned around, got speared, and Tekla tied Statlander's hands behind her back, gave her a curb stomp, pinned her. Very charitably, you could say that this was an effective distraction. It was more interference for the sake of it. I don't think it really protected Statlander all that much. But Tekla is the new women's champion, and they beat down Statlander after the match. Willow and Harley were not there, not because of ice, but because they were also on a flight to Australia, and they could not make the save. So the Brawling Birds, who I would like to note, the announcers repeatedly stated by name, came down to the ring, made the save as the show ended. And yes, while the show did not need a 17-minute overrun, I thought this was an excellent show, and Ciampa Fletcher, you probably need to go out of your way to see, because it was great. Thank you, Dom. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
You're clear.
Sunshine, goodbye rain. She's wearing my school ring on her chain. She's my steady, I'm her man. I'm gonna love her all I can.
If you're serious about investing in gold or silver,
can you all hear me?
Gold will give you an additional
I don't know what happened.
$5,000 in free gold to add to your portfolio. They can help you buy.
Wow, look at this. You guys get a bonus.
Silver, even roll over your current IRA.
We're live, pal. Let's find out what happened here.
Helped thousands invest millions in gold over the years, with prices that are some of the best in the industry, with fees that are fair, reasonable,
Let me check
and
the news
transparent.
first.
Protect your wealth with gold. Save on your gold or silver pricing when you buy from the top-rated Allegiance Gold. Invest in gold or silver today by calling Allegiance for your free gold guide. And learn about the $5,000 free gold offer with qualified purchase. Call now.
800-413-1937. 800-413-1937.
That is a good point in that Tekla match. The babyface lost in a match where she picked the stipulation.
I've got a question for you.
That's
Do
weird.
you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car.
The announcers did say like 50 times, oh, maybe it was a mistake, she got baited into it.
In your contract.
If you love this show, you should consider signing up at WrestlingObserver.com. WrestlingObserver.com has every show that we have ever done. Over 15,000 podcasts in the archives, dating back to 2005. Searchable by show, searchable by year. Perhaps the first show you ever watched was 2008 WrestleMania? Well, you can head into the archives and you can find the podcast we did, all built around the 2008 WrestleMania. Every major show whether it be WWE, AEW, we covered it all. 15,000 archived shows at WrestlingObserver.com. Also, when you subscribe, you get full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's a new Observer every Friday. And on top of that, we have thousands and thousands of archived issues of the Observer dating back to 1991. So again, WrestleMania 2008. Go to the archives, search WrestleMania 2008, read all of the issues surrounding that show. Of course, Wrestling Observer newsletter, 40,000 words of news and information on pro wrestling and mixed martial arts every single week. New issue comes out every Friday. New back issue comes out every Monday. You also get the discussion board. One of the best discussion boards on the internet. It's members only. If you're going to troll, well, you got to pay to troll, and there aren't too many of those. And if you cause too much trouble, you're out of there. So if you want a great place to discuss professional wrestling, it is the board. Also available as a subscriber at WrestlingObserver.com. The whole package, all of the new shows, all of the archived shows, all of the new issues of the Observer, all of the archived editions of the newsletter. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here today, but tonight on the Bryan and Vinny show, we're going to be reviewing AEW and NXT. We didn't get to do NXT at all last night on Observer Radio. Dave had a lot to say. And so we'll be doing that tonight. That'll be 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern for subscribers at WrestlingObserver.com, video.f4wonline.com, f4wonline.com/Apple, and f4wonline.com/Spotify. And then I will be back Friday for Observer Live. And then, my friends, peace out. I'm going to take my one vacation every year where I am unplugged. I will have no shows from Friday night through the following Monday. So Vinny's going to do the Bryan and Vinny show. Filthy Tom, with help from Lance, is going to do Observer Live every day. And I'm not sure exactly who is going to be doing the shows with Dave, but I've sent out feelers, as they say. So you'll be getting a lot of shows, but not with me. Some of you will celebrate that. Big middle finger to you guys. The rest of you, I won't forget you. And I'll be back when it's all said and done. And we'll get back into the swing of things. But anyway, I will see you guys tonight, loyal subscribers. And I'll see the rest of you tomorrow. And that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.